Okay.
I set chat to slow mode
What did I just witness?
for like
What did I just
4
witness?
seconds.
Shots fired. Shots were
No,
definitely
no, no,
fired.
no, no. There
no,
weren't.
no,
There,
that
no,
wasn't
there
a
was not. There were no
shot.
shots. There was one guy in a room on the other side of the planet, and he pressed a button, and millions of people died. That's what just happened.
Oh, Adam's in here? I was wondering
That's
why.
what
snap.
just happened. Some guy in there just went fire, and a fucking nuclear warhead was launched across the planet,
Nuclear
and
launch
millions
detected.
and millions of people died. That's what just happened.
When they announced the DRM thing, though, it was like a super hot fire rap, though, because all of us were like, ah!
You were like,
Also, no camera in the
you're
living
done.
room.
You're
No
done.
camera in the living room is a big value add.
I need that.
Oh man, that's just nuts.
It was nail in the coffin once we heard all that stuff, though.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Wait, there's no pots allowed?
Nope, no pots.
Well, you usually get 2-3 pots.
You each have to get your boots.
Not anymore.
Don't worry, I'm point star Fiora.
Oh my sweet
that
baby
was. I'm pretty
that
sure
was-
Sony
that was
just used
harsh.
like a 20 grit sandpaper condom.
20 grit. 20 grit. You let me explain what they
5
did.
grit?
You know what they did? They took
Jeff's-
some cloth paper, some cloth sack, and then they took some super glue, and they just glued just straight rocks to the outside. There's no grit. They just glued rocks to the outside.
No grit, dude, straight
We
up.
might want to move Jeff
This-
in.
Oh yeah. Okay. Hold on one sec.
Yeah, Jeff wants in.
What's up, Jeff?
Hey,
What's up,
Jeff.
Jeff?
Hey,
What's up,
Jeff.
Jeff?
GG. No,
got the nails out, right?
I have never witnessed such corporate rape in all of my life. Never once.
Well,
What's
I
your
was
response for
thinking,
everything?
I was thinking to myself, like I've been secretly rooting for. I mean, it's obvious I'm not secretly rooting. I was rooting for Sony the moment Xbox pulled some shit about not being able to trade games and just really restricting people from actually doing what they love to do, and that's game and share and play with friends and whatever. And I've been an Xbox fanboy for years, and I always had that argument on Xbox side. Oh, Xbox is better than PlayStation, better than PlayStation. And then when they pulled that, and I was like, you know what? I really hope that PlayStation hits this one out of the park, makes this $399, does not have this trade bullshit, does not make you go online. And that was like wishful fucking thinking. That was like so out in left field that I didn't think all those demands were going to be made, and I would have been okay with like 2 or 3 of them. But no, every single thing that we wanted to happen for the PlayStation happened. And Xbox, I am actually almost sad for the entire gaming community because it's really going to diminish the competition between the two consoles. I really feel like the numbers are going to be so staggering right now for PlayStation when the releases come out that Xbox is literally going to have to change the way they do things before they release, or they're fucked. Like, they're going to have to just say, all right, we made a mistake. We need to get rid of this trading shit, this online shit. We need to do something, because if they don't, oh man.
Well, that's what I'm waiting for, right? Is I'm waiting to see how Microsoft plans on trying to backpedal their way out of this. I mean, they need to.
They can't.
Well, that's the thing, is that they
can
can't,
attempt
but
to.
they're going to attempt to, obviously. So they can't not try. They're not going to be successful, but they're going to have to attempt, and I can't wait to see what they do for that. And I'll be the first to admit, I was calling it all week before this that PlayStation would have similar ways of tackling, say, used games and shit like that, just because of how a lot of stuff is going to be online connected like all the time and shit. And I didn't envision a world. That was the biggest surprise for me, is that it wasn't, all the other things that we saw. It was that they tackled that one differently entirely. I thought they were going to at least be on parity, and maybe they had until Xbox just all shit the bed, and then they were like, you know what, guys, fuck it, let's just drop everything and see what happens. And then Jack Trenton goes on stage and goes, hey guys, I have this huge PlayStation dick, and I'm about to take it out in front of all of you. And I have our boy over here on Microsoft's side, who's a terrible public speaker, but he's really good at taking it to the face. And so I'm about to whip that shit back and forth and slap him around a bit. And that's what he did. And everybody watched and laughed and cheered. And I'm sure some people even cried. And
Wait, Adam, 1 second. I just need concentration while I log into Amazon and order my PS4. 1 second.
Go for it. so I mean, that's yeah. I mean, what more can you say? They literally couldn't have done anything else more epic.
I even think the
They
PS4
couldn't
design
have
is
tried.
I actually liked the Microsoft presentation, but then again, I was watching the live blogs. I was excited for the games.
Well, no, you know,
I'm still getting the Xbox.
Let's
I'm not getting an Xbox.
let's not forget that Xbox did have good games shown at their conference, because they did. But it's just that it wasn't enough. Like, especially because they did their whole announcement and then said E3 is going to be all games. And then for PlayStation, even though it was kind of like a bit of a sleight of hand, right, for PlayStation, because a lot of the games that they showed, for instance, the indie game thing, most of those are already in existence. It's just, hey guys, they're going to be over here and we're going to be friendly with it. But it makes it look like, to a lot of people, at least in the console world, who don't know that a lot of those games exist on, like, say, Steam, it looks like it. Like, they're like, whoa! And when they get to say something like console exclusively on PlayStation 4, then it makes it look even better. But they had, you know, it felt like more games. And what made it feel even more like that is that it was almost entirely full of gameplay of some kind. There was at least, even Kingdom Hearts had like fucking 15 seconds of gameplay, even though it said just in development. So, Microsoft had good stuff, but they didn't bring enough artillery to even, I mean, I still think that Microsoft, with all the shit that Sony pulled, if Microsoft had cashed in on way more games than they did and pulled out everything, because I think what Microsoft's plan was to slow burn some more shit between now and November, bad move.
Ha!
Well, there are other issues with that also. Microsoft's hardware and
Is fucked
PS4's
right now.
hardware this
I know.
time
Yeah.
are exactly the same in terms of like architecture, but PS4's got a solid 20% in just terms of memory, horsepower, clock speed, everything.
Well, yeah. Well,
So they're kinda
the
screwed.
biggest problem before they released the issues that Microsoft like had to downclock and shit is that the only real monstrous difference was GDDR3 versus 5.
Oh no, they actually have less processing units in the 360, not just downclock. They physically have 20% less processing units
Oh, really?
in the console.
I didn't know that, so there you go. I thought they were pretty much bang on identical, aside from which version of RAM they were.
Let me grab the article real quick.
But yeah, so there you go. In every conceivable way, they're in some shit. Mind you, that 20%
Articles in chat.
is probably not going to show up all that much for console games, but you'll see a difference.
I just find the
in-
PlayStation looks better in general. Like the games just look better in general. I mean, obviously there was a couple of glitches, but
Well, they
I
showed.
mean-
They showed what they showed. A lot of what was shown for the PlayStation was like going to be on the Xbox
on
as well.
Xbox anyway, so
Yeah,
it doesn't. Yeah.
The
And
only one
the
that
only-
would have been different was like, what was like the one major exclusive? Did they like that was shown for gameplay? Did they even have that?
I don't even think so.
I don't think they did, because
The-
Destiny. Destiny's even both consoles.
Yeah, the only gripe that people are saying about PlayStation, and I don't even think that this is a legitimate thing to bitch about, the fact that it does cost like what $4.95 now to play online, opposed to when it was free.
Oh,
But-
go fuck off.
No, exactly. But I mean, for Christ's sake, you're getting the system $100 cheaper. You're not required
Come
to be
on.
online. Xbox is more expensive just right out the gate anyway, and it's $5
And I think you get
Yeah.
all
It's
the
$5.
features,
It's
right?
still.
But what
But
do you
here's
say-
the
don't
thing.
you need
Here's the thing. It's
Xbox
still.
Live to play online?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that
so
costs money
on the
anyway.
PlayStation side,
Lot
it's
more.
always been the multiplayer side is free, and then the Plus has like some perks and there was some extra things. I'm sure that, for instance, I think with Destiny, you are probably going to have Plus in order to play Destiny.
Oh yeah.
And that makes perfectly fucking.
Come on,
whatever.
it's $5.
$5.
I literally, I'm not joking you. I spent $5.75 on my fucking grande cinnamon dolce latte
Jeff?
at fucking Starbucks.
Well,
today.
I mean, $5 a month.
Jeff, I accidentally swallowed $5 in quarters the other day and shit that out this morning.
Yeah. So if anybody's got any bad things to
What?
say about a fucking $5 fee to play online, then you're actually retarded.
Actually,
you're
the PSN
messed
is still
up.
free. PSN is still going to be free. It's only PlayStation Plus, which is $5 a month.
Exactly.
And it's only, and the only reason you're paying that extra $5 a month is if you want to get those extra exclusive games like Don't Starve and those other 2 games you
But
get
no, you're
as
gonna
a
need to play
PlayStation
Plus
Plus
to
member.
get to play
No,
online.
no,
though.
you need the.
Fathom, don't be
No,
hating.
they changed it to multiplayer requires plus.
I was gonna say something about that, but I let it slide. I let it slide.
What?
Where does it say that? Where's
Wow,
the article for that?
But yeah, that's
Dude, that instructional video.
That's hilarious.
Absolute
That's fucking
fucking
hilarious.
gold. Like
Absolutely
Sony knows.
Yes.
Like it's kind of sad because I mean Sony knows that Microsoft is bent over right now, and they've already had rounds like Bubba, Frank, Cheeseburger Eddie already went ass balls deep on Xbox, and then like there's this little tiny Asian man that says, you know what, I want in that ass too, and they just throw up that video, and now they're even getting screwed by the little Japanese dude. So sour about life right now. They're just pounding it deep. They don't even care. They're not. There's no mercy. There's no mercy.
No,
even the
no.
way that even the way you could tell they were all shots. The last like 10 minutes of that, it was like a fucking Xbox punching bag, and that guy was just throwing haymakers at that bag, and everybody in the crowd was just soaking it up. And I know that there's somebody in a hotel room right now in LA, fucking CEO is either has killed himself,
Throwing
or
himself
is,
off the top of a building.
or yeah, no, literally, he is standing on the edge of a building right now going, I have no idea what the hell we're going to do here. This is turning out bad. I should just end my life.
I straight up think Jack Trenton popped a full-on man boner, but he knew it was going to happen, so he tucked it before he went out. He got it under his belt before he went out there, because he knew he was going to get a little chub from the audience reaction.
Oh
when they
my God,
dropped
it
that
was
bomb.
glorious.
He was
Dude,
smiling and shit. He was giggling on stage. Because
Did anybody else literally yell like when they said about the trading, the not having to be online? I legitimately like yelled. Kale looked at me like I was retarded and made fun of me because I'm such a geek. And then when they said the $3.99, I just did the biggest Ric Flair woo of all time. And I was already sold before that, but now I'm doubly sold.
Oh man, this TeamSpeak. Good thing Adam wasn't in it, because this whole TeamSpeak was just going
ape
insane.
shit.
Yeah, we were going insane.
I was going ham by myself. I was just everything, and I mean,
I pulled out nails. I pulled nails for that
Well,
coffin.
PlayStation went full honey ham.
the weirdest
Whoa.
part of the whole presentation, though, and the weirdest part for me for the PlayStation's presentation was the announcement of the showing of the actual console. It was like the most It
was pretty lackluster.
It was like they literally walked the motherfucker out on stage. Like they didn't even have that on a pedestal or some shit. They didn't have like hot chicks holding it. They just walked it out on stage and was like, "Here's this thing that looks like the Xbox
but how quick did we-
One, but
yeah.
italic."
How
And
quick did we
then-
forget about that though? The moment they started giving details about
Yeah,
the fucking system,
but what
it's like,
was
you know what?
crazy-
Hey, let's.
I expected them to leave it on the stage though. You know
Dude,
what I
it's
mean?
such a motherfucking epic system. I thought they were literally going to bring out the Game of Thrones fucking chair and sit it on that shit.
Well,
that's what I
that's
literally
what
thought.
I
I thought it
want.
was going to be a permanent piece.
I want
Every
that.
time we watch Game of Thrones, I thought we were going to see a PS4 and the fucking jagged out on the side of the chair. That's how epic the fucking system is.
Do you want to know what's going to happen in the next season of Game of Thrones? Joffrey's going to give everybody in the land an Xbox One. That's what's gonna
That
happen.
torture.
That's what's going to happen.
No, instead of the red wedding, they just have the fucking all these Xbox Ones hooked up and they make you play for hours upon hours.
The console wedding.
Nobody
I
dies
put a
here.
link in the TeamSpeak.
You
The
all
best,
play
the, best,
the
the best hashtag that I saw on like the feed for game trailers on the side was somebody putting in hashtag Xbox
Xbox done. I know.
Yeah.
So sour.
I saw that, I was like, wow, that's clever and also true.
Yeah, and Nintendo. It's so funny because it's like now Nintendo's gonna come out. No, I should say nobody gives a flying fuck. But I'm telling you right now, I don't care about any other system at this point. Just bring out the PS4 and just make my life complete.
Yeah.
Straight
I
up.
kind of like Xboned also.
Xboned is pretty good. I don't even like It's just yeah. I really and I want to see how fast of a turnaround the Xbox PR team can put something together. Like if this is going to be like a
No,
quick
no. I don't think. I don't.
tomorrow-
No.
It's
It's GG.
Microsoft.
It's
They're gonna come out with
GG.
a statement or something.
Yeah,
and
like I
that's
want to
it.
hear. I want to
No,
hear.
no.
I want to get.
I
a
think they're
statement.
gonna come out and say something like, after here in the community, blah 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 blah. We're really highly considering making some drastic changes before the release of Xbox. More to come. We're gonna get something fucking stupid like that.
So somebody
They may
said-
even do it. They may even do an emergency fucking another press conference down the road,
I
like
think
another month
between
from
now
now.
and the launch, I think you will see another one if they're going to do an epic backpedal. But at the same time, they can't wait that long.
No, they can't.
They have
no.
to. They have
No,
to
you're
just.
right.
They have to do it. So if there's another press conference, it will be for it'll be for new IPs exclusives that haven't been shown yet that they're trying to do last second, fucking last ditch effort to get as much hype up before November. But so, like the price point was the last of the 47 nails in the coffin that they managed to drive home in that press conference, and the main reasoning for it. I mean, it would have been crazy to see them not do that, because the reason why the Xbox is so bloody expensive is because they're putting a Kinect in every box. It was a crazy move, because the Kinect by itself, even if it was even if that's the reason, it is the reason why it's an extra $100 more. But the Kinect is probably.
I think it's a stupid reason though, because let's be honest, it doesn't cost them $100 to make the product. They're just tacking on the price of it into the Xbox to force you to pay for it, which I think is fucking stupid.
Well, their R&D for the new version of the Kinect is probably where they're trying to recuperate some shit on
They
it.
should have made it. They should have made it so that if you have an Xbox Kinect from the Xbox 360, then you can get a cheaper version of the Xbox One and just bring your Kinect and connect it to your Xbox One. And if you don't have it, you're still required to have it to run the system, and then pay the $499, and then have it at $100 cheaper if you already own a Kinect. That's fucking bullshit. That not only that you can't play any Xbox 360 games on the thing, you can't use your old Kinect. So basically all your old hardware is fucking garbage. And then they make you buy it all over again and force you to do it in order to own the system. I think it's a really cheeky way of doing business.
I mean, the camera does definitely cost them a lot of money to make. It has two 1080p. I think they're even at 60 frame cameras in it. It's not even just one camera. It's two 1080p 60 plus all the fucking epic tracking shit that's in there and what it can do. It's an expensive, and it's impressive. You can't hate. If there's it shits on the PlayStation Move, but nobody gives a fuck about that if they're a gamer anyway. But it is a very impressive yet expensive piece of hardware that they linchpinned the entire console on. It's built around the Kinect. The always on and everything is pretty much because of the Kinect and the features that they're trying to push for the mass market. Whereas the PlayStation smartly just said, fuck that noise, here's games. And it's smart, because the Xbox couldn't have done the Xbox by itself without the Kinect, because it built all of its UI, all of its everything connected, all the games, everything. The whole console revolves around the use of that Kinect, even though you can disable it. So they fucked themselves so hard. And then Sony came in afterwards when the hole was already made large by their own mistakes and widened it considerably. Wide enough for possibly a tractor trailer to back into.
Also, the PlayStation is also going to be offering with that weird Gaikai thing, PS3 games as well.
Okay.
So you're going to get some PS3 games on PS4. So
You
it's
will
almost
get-
going to
Yeah, you're probably
incentivize
gonna have to. You might have to buy some of them back or whatever, but
it's going to incentivize people to want to get a PS4 right away because
Oh,
they
yeah.
know that they still have some security. With
oh
their
no, the
PS3
adoption
games.
the adoption rate for the PS4 is going to be epic, dude. It's going to be absolutely epic, because they have a
Yeah.
couple of really good launch titles that are going to be out with it, and it's $399, which is a whopping $100 more than the fucking PlayStation 3 is right now with that. Or what was it? GTA 5 plus the PS3 was $299.
Yep.
So I
Yeah.
mean, that's, people are even going to look at that and go, okay, I might as well just buy a PS4. But it's just,
Not only that, like, just think about it at Christmas time too. Like, if parents are trying to figure out
It's that extra
what do they want to
$100.
buy, it's that extra $100. It's
And
really
that's a
gonna
game.
make a fucking difference,
Or
dude.
2 games.
Well, and it's the economy as well. It's like, you know, people just can't afford to be spending $500 on a system before you buy a fucking game or another controller. I mean, that $100 to some of us may not seem like, you know, a deal breaker because, you know, let's be honest, if the Xbox was a better system, I wouldn't mind paying the extra $100. But what we're seeing right now, it's a big letdown and a disappointment. And to the everyday consumer, especially the parents that are going to be buying them for their kids,
Absolutely.
they're going to go, well, it's $100 cheaper. We need to buy a Blu-ray anyway. Let's just go ahead and grab this. It's got all this movie shit and all this stuff, Netflix, all, you know, it just resonates more with the adults and also stays true to the gamer. And like you said, they're pushing games. They're not pushing all this social media shit. They're not pushing Madden, fucking, you know, fantasy football, more Madden.
TV,
like, you know,
TV, John Madden, TV,
I mean,
John
that's
Madden.
great, but I mean, you know, that's not what we're buying an Xbox for. We're buying an Xbox for games. And if you want to throw in the Madden stuff, that's wonderful. I think that's great. But don't make this a selling point and a headliner of your system. Show us some good shit. Fuck.
Xbox really banked hard on the fact that they're going to enter this market that's outside of the gaming market itself to try and broaden how much they can absorb. But I think that they've shot themselves so hard on the gamer side that even if they do recuperate on the non-gamer side, it's going to be at best a net of 0. So they're not going to grow from that. They're only going at their best possible outcome right now. If they don't backpedal on shit and convince like a small margin of people to go back over, is a net gain of 0. So it's not. It's just a really. I feel for the PR team over at Microsoft because they are going to be up for 72 hours straight, just trying to come up with some shit. I don't know. Yeah, but you're right. It is the economy, and somebody said the Dow Jones is the highest. It's at its highest in the States. Dow Jones is not an indicator of local economy. Not even fucking close. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. Does it? No. Nobody's making that kind of money. The spending is okay, but it's not that great. So, yeah, no, it's a huge difference. And for the people who have money at that range, it's that extra game or two. That's why I was expecting it at its highest to be like $449 or $439, where it's console plus a game before you even hit the Xbox. So it's just that extra bit that you can get out of your dollars over top of the Xbox. There's
and it's like even when you buy even when you buy the Xbox, it's not like even if you can't afford a game, you just want to get your hands on the system. Like it's not like you can just go and throw in your Halo Reach and at least play that in the meantime. You have to go out and buy games.
Yeah.
Like I know with the PlayStation, if you can't afford to buy a game, you can still play your old games.
Sure. Well, no, there's no backwards compatibility on the PS4.
So I thought that they were able to still play on
You have to get them
some
on
of the
the
major.
PSN.
Oh yes. Okay. Well yes.
The main thing is Xbox and PS3 both have completely different architectures going into the next gen. They both have the same one this generation, but the backwards compatibility doesn't work because it's completely different process architecture.
Way too different.
So what happens if you own? What happens if you own, say, I don't know, Uncharted?
You can only play it on PlayStation 3 unless you like buy it back again on whatever service they're going to provide online for PlayStation 4.
Gotcha.
I think if you have PlayStation Plus, you can actually buy back your games at like
At a
$1 or
discount.
something like that. Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
Which they were saying in earlier, there was a news report out there on IGN. It was like you had to be on PlayStation Plus in order to actually play multiplayer.
We just talked about that.
Talked about that.
All right, so
I'm
Scorch Scorch from the chat is asking us to give Xbox a chance. So, like I said before, it's not as if the Xbox didn't show really, really good games at its conference, because there was a couple of great games at the conference. but they didn't show a hell of a lot of gameplay. So it's hard to say. And even if they have a lot of gameplay, at most. So here's the thing, that like we were just talking about, the consoles in terms of their architecture is almost identical, except the PlayStation is just beefier. So at its best, on both sides, PlayStation wins at its best. And then on top of that, the gameplay is not going to be a hell of a lot different between the two for everything except for the exclusives. And the exclusives on the PlayStation 4 are always going to look better. I mean, you can even tell the PlayStation 3, it took a while for them to get used to that cell architecture. Shit was bananas. That was a huge gamble by Sony. It lengthened the life of their console a bit, but it really fucked them pretty hard in the first few years of its life cycle because developers didn't know what the hell to do with it. But you can see now, I mean, PlayStation 3 still makes epic ass looking games for its first party guys. Like Naughty Dog makes games that look fucking gorgeous. Gran Turismo 5 looks epic.
Yeah.
So it's.
I mean, even the difference between Forza and Gran Turismo. I mean,
well, Forza's a very fucking good looking game. But,
oh, it was gorgeous looking, but I mean, you can definitely there's realism. There's something about
Forza
PlayStation.
Is
I know
like
that Forza's
stylized.
is more of a I know that Forza's got sort of it's more of a colorful game. It's more of a arcadey look to it.
Yeah.
Than what Gran Turismo is, but I mean, it's always been that way. Even sports games, it's always been. PlayStation has had more of a realistic feel to it, but I will say that Xbox games look better in more of a cartoonish type feel, like sort of more of the Jet Set Radio type games. I think they pop a lot better on the. I shouldn't say a lot better, but there's definitely.
Well, the biggest difference between the two is that lighting always seemed to be ever so slightly better on the PlayStation 3, but the contrast and coloring and shit always seemed to be ever so slightly better on the Xbox.
Yeah, so I mean, the Xbox, the Xbox is gonna be a good system, but the problem is everything that surrounds the system. That's the issue.
Which is a lot.
We're not talking about the hardware. The hardware is perfectly fine. They're gonna get the majority of the same games PlayStation's gonna get, but it's all the limitations that they put on the system that really holds the potential of the Xbox back. Even get rid of the price. Price is just icing on the cake for Sony, but I mean, even the price isn't the major issue. I mean, at another $100, sure, we made some good points about economy, buying a game, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if the Xbox, you could trade games, you didn't have to worry about being online all the time. They didn't force you to have Kinect. They didn't force you to do everything that they want you to do and not allow you to experience the gameplay the way that you want to and the experience that you want to have. Then we'd be having a different conversation. I don't think anybody on here is saying that Xbox is going to be a bad system. I just think personally it's being run really fucking poorly, and it's Microsoft. They're being greedy, and that's all it is. It's all about the money at the end of the day. They're trying to make an extra buck, but guess what? They've really stabbed themselves in the foot. Because now they're going to lose money if they don't change this.
When it comes to like the used shit, it was all on the publishers at the end. Like Microsoft didn't see a lot of money out of it. Microsoft's problem wasn't greed as much as it was just a bad life choice. They decided that, and we knew this was coming because halfway through the 360's life cycle, when they started updating Xbox Live a lot to make it look to where we are today at the dashboard and shit. And they were saying over and over again, they said since the 360, they said we want the 360 to be the centerpiece of the living room, the all-in-one box, the media box that does games and movies and everything, that you just need that one. And they took that idea and they went with the Xbox One and they blew that motherfucker out of the water. Like they took that and went all the way with it. They went ham in the worst possible way. And it is too much the media side now. Not enough games, and they've totally shot themselves in the foot because of it, and they're going to have to backpedal. But the biggest problem is they're saying that it's called Xbox One for a reason. It's like the one box to rule them all, the fucking lord of the consoles. But you have your Kinect, and then if you need more hard drive space, you can't swap it out, so you got to put it in that stupid fucking plug on the side, and you got a second friggin' box sitting next to that one.
Yeah.
And like and there's like several things just like that add up over top of it that just go around it, and then by the end of the day you've got like a whole stack of boxes and shit,
and $800 worth of shit,
and like $800-900 worth of shit, and it's
you're gonna need your own entertainment fucking center to hold all that garbage.
yeah,
Seriously,
it's too much. It's too much. Well, I understand that if you can't, even if you can't swap PlayStation hard drives, whoop-de-fucking-do. They're not telling us that it's going to be the one box in your living room to do everything. It's a gaming console. So if I need to strap something to the PlayStation, I don't have a move system, so I don't give a fuck about that. I've got some room for that. Plug that bad boy in, don't give a shit. But on the Xbox, if you're touting, this is the one box to rule them all, don't have 18,000 satellite things that have to sit around it in orbit to freaking keep it going. It's just not cool. Also, I have to say, the PlayStation, I mean, it looks a little thinner because of its, like, leaned nature, its italic nature, but much smaller than the Xbox. And so
half the size.
So I don't want to say I'm overly concerned, but I'll be interested to see how that system cools itself. Because the Xbox went the extreme because they said we can't afford another Red Ring of Death scenario. So they were like, let's just build Fort Knox around this thing and just have empty air everywhere around our chipsets so that it can't overheat and the glue off the PCB just stops. Totally opposite direction. And the PlayStation much thinner profile, and it really does look like a PlayStation 2 and a PlayStation 3 had sex and had a baby, and that's what the PlayStation 4 looks like. And I'm down with that. It looks pretty sexy. I wish it was matte because I'm tired of this glossy stuff because it just collects dust and fingerprints like a motherfucker. But it looks good. I am a little bit, ever so slightly concerned about heating because it does look like they squeezed everything in there pretty tight.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam,
Yes, Panic.
do you remember what you played last week?
No.
Because America does.
Oh, fuck that joke. Don't bring in this Prism. Don't bring Prism into this
What
fucking
the
conversation, Panic.
What
Ain't
the
nobody
fuck?
got time for talking about Prism. It's not the rest of the world's fault that your country's fucked.
Canada, fuck yeah.
We're now watching you for that commentary.
Pretty much.
What the fuck?
Rape station.
But the rape station.
Rape station. Sandpaper rape station.
Oh, stop. That's not imagery I want.
So yeah, I mean, what else is there to be said? The PlayStation
Nothing.
dismantled.
Nothing. We're trying
the Xbox.
to figure out a way that makes Xbox sound good. But
Okay, so how? Okay,
it's hard.
so
freezes.
even though obviously we're not going to be super convinced by whatever Xbox does, what is Microsoft's appropriate response to this to even give themselves a fighting chance of anything? What do you guys think?
Open statement.
Free.
Oh, an open statement
think-
and realizing it. What's maybe
I
wrong?
think removing the online requirement, also allowing the used games, and then on top of that, adopting a pricing model for the Xbox similar to a cell phone where they can get the Xbox for free right away, and they pay for an Xbox Gold for a certain amount of time.
I think their only way to literally, I'm going to speak on my behalf to win me over, would be to legitimately apologize, like just straight up, not oh we've heard the backlash and now we're going to do something about it, but legitimately apologize for the blatantly shitty direction. And I know that there's some greedy pig in an office somewhere that thought that this is going to be a marvelous thing and that their profit margins, their bottom end was going to skyrocket because of this, and literally just say, we're sorry guys, we messed up, we're doing what we can to fix this. I can guarantee that the online requirement is not going to be fixed, because imagine how many publishers right now have created the games or are in the middle of creating the games that it's probably already integrated in those games, and it's just it'll just require, unless the first 100 releases will require to be online, and then after that change the way that they do business. But I don't see that changing. But the whole trading thing, making it so that I can't go to EB Games and just trade in my game and not, usually I get $10 but not get $3, and being able to just trade games and shit like that all needs to change. And I just think a legitimate sorry to their fans, the people, that guys like me that stuck up for them for many, many years, just to sort of be shat on.
Well, I mean, to be fair, at least last generation they did really well. Except for the Red Ring of Death, Microsoft did incredibly well with the 360. I mean, that was their second console ever, going from the Xbox, which was the size of a fucking New York City block, weighed 500 billion pounds, created Xbox Live, which fucking straight up, I don't care. They
it's
fucked this
godlike.
up. Xbox Live,
It's godlike.
what revolutionized consoles, period. Like
Yep.
it fucking revolutionized everything. So they but and the 360 they did well with the 360, and there's no two ways around it, except for the
Yep.
Red Ring. Xbox 360 was fucking baller.
The whole marketplace is a win.
Yeah, no, it was just winning. However, now they've completely undone all that work. So for me, what they would have to do is, one, they need to fix their hardware bullshit, because the fact that they're charging so much more money and they're already at a 20% disadvantage for basically no reason. They haven't gone into mass production of these things yet. And if they have, they're fucked anyway, because nobody's going to buy the damn thing. But they
Wow.
wouldn't have started now. They will still start like 2 months before. But
Yeah.
they need to just change that, because it's not going to change the architecture. That's not bad. All right, that's not bad. You can change what's in the box and not change the architecture. So that's cool. Make it beefier. Say, all right, we fucked up. You guys all knew, because it was leaked. We were having some issues. We needed some more power to help run all this epic shit that we're going to be doing. So we're fixing that, and here's that. That's step one. Step two is the game trade-in, and all that shit needs to be wiped completely. And I think if anything is to happen, if that isn't at least the bare minimum that they do, then they're completely fucked and there's no hope.
Yeah, I agree.